morning, folks. Welcome back into our FFA Week celebration here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV. Big thank you to our sponsors who have made these shows possible this week, including Armstrong Crop Insurance, Adams, Brown, and Highland County Farm Bureaus, Baxla Tractor Sales, Buckeye Valley Beef Cooperative, Georgetown Marble and Granite, and Southern Ohio Medical Center. And good morning to our crew joining us here today. We have the Eastern Brown FFA chapter. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Man, that was very well timed. You guys practiced that on the way over, didn't you? No. Okay. It was just naturally that good. Okay. Well, first and foremost, have to point out, do the girls just do it better at Eastern? You guys all in leadership roles? Chris is probably saying yes back behind our shoulder here. Vivian, all female representation here?
Yeah. Today, I feel like the women are definitely more of the radio, TV personas. Okay. The men they are there. They do their roles well. Okay. They're just not as suited for this as well as we are. You
guys, they have the face for radio. You guys are good for TV. So if we were just doing radio, that might have shown up. But since we put cameras on you, I understand. I get it. Thanks for at least including me. I can appreciate that. Vivian, let's introduce yourself, a little about you, background, and what you serve as in your FFA chapter.
So my name is Vivian Grimes. I'm the Eastern Brown FFA president, and I'm a senior this year. I have done many CDEs, which are career development events, such as I did creed speaking when I was younger. I've done a little livestock judging. Biotechnology is what I've been doing recently, and a lot more.
Interesting. Good. And a long career. What's this make? You start as a 7th grader at Eastern, right? Or you...
Yes, we started as a 7th grader in the program, but we're not official FFA members yet. So it's just like you're getting your feet in the water right at the start. And I've been in it since 7th grade, and I've loved it ever since.
That's awesome. Well, we've heard from our other FFA chapters this week that seems to be a growing trend, having that junior high experience, that education. And I know we have some of that representation here with us today, but for you as a senior, kind of, looking at wrapping up your FFA career, what did it mean to you to be able to have that opportunity to get that ag education started just a little earlier than what we've seen in the past?
I definitely think it helped me just get my foot in the door to start it. And that's why, as an officer team, we did a Lead Like a Warrior activity, which was actually so we have a state leadership night, which is put on by the state FFA.
Okay.
And we wanted to do something specifically for our FFA members, more tailored to middle school and what they're going to be doing. So we gave them leadership that they could apply to their classroom, because when you get to that big state action, it's more detailed to high schoolers, because that's who the general population is.
Sure. Okay. So again, it's not just from the educator standpoint. You guys are taking a vested interest in those younger members as well, which is a really awesome thing. So it really comes full circle. Now, talking about a few of your things, I cannot believe you are the first person this week who has actually mentioned the FFA Creed, because I know that is kind of that starting point for a lot of FFA members in their freshman year. That's that, or speech, something easy to kind of, as you said, get your feet wet. As a senior, can you still remember the Creed? Is that ingrained in your brain?
I can definitely get the first paragraph out. No problem.
Okay.
The rest of them I have to look at it twice, but I could probably do it if you gave me 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just curious, because everybody else kind of does it, and I don't ever want to talk about it again, because it's a pretty stressful thing to have to go into that Creed competition.
Especially because it's one of their first public speaking events. It's okay, we're just going to, we gave you the speech. You didn't even have to write it, but it's the first time that a lot of these middle school members are being put in front of someone and being graded on how they speak. And so it's a good way for them to get the nerves out and realize it's not that big of a deal. You're just talking, and you're just making conversation, and you have a pretty good speech to back you up with the Creed. So
there you go. Built in, right off the bat. We're going to circle back to you and talk a little more on what you're working on right now, but let's meet everybody else. So Emery, a little about yourself, your background.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emery Simpson, and I am the Eastern Brown FFA Vice President. I have been enrolled in the FFA chapter for 5 years now, if you count my 7th grade year, but really 4 years as a member. I participate in several CDEs. My favorite would be livestock judging, which is upon us. Food science, biotechnology. I did public speaking for 1 year, and
Best year of your life.
right. I can't say it stopped there though, because throughout my CDE processes, there's definitely been several times where, in order to compete in the cattle show, I had to public speak.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it all comes back full circle moment.
Exactly. Just like Vivian talked about, it's a good starting point to kind of get those skill sets, and you fine tune them as you go through your FFA experience. So livestock judging, that's the hot thing right now for you.
Yep.
What does one do to prepare for a livestock judging contest, like on the forefront before we ever get into that workspace?
So I show cattle year round. But saying cattle, when we do a general livestock competition, it is anything from cattle to goats and anything in between. So the cattle definitely has a background, as I see it all the time, and I hear the reasons all the time. So it just kind of sticks in your brain. But then when it comes to like actually the classroom setting, we do a lot of like online. We watch classes on videos, and then we do our judging like on a sheet. Or sometimes like we've been out to farms and we judge like in person, because honestly on a screen it's hard to judge all aspects because you can only see certain angles. So when we get the chance to go out to like a local farm or somebody that's willing to provide for our chapter to give us that experience, it definitely helps.
Yeah. So that hands-on, I don't know, very little replacement for that hands-on learning, right? Being right there in the moment. I have to ask, and again, this is something I've asked throughout the week with our livestock judging team members. Oftentimes you will see someone who is really hyper-focused on one thing, or maybe they show, much like yourself, you show cattle all year round. Does that make going in and judging cattle easier in your mind, or do you get kind of have to work through like the things you like versus what a judge may be looking for?
So when I think of judging, even in all aspects, not even cattle, I think of every judge. It's a toss-up because every judge is going to have a different opinion.
Right.
So yours may not be relevant that day, and it might be spot on. Who knows? So when I go in to judge a cattle class, I look for the things I like, but then I also have to know in the back of my mind that just the things I like are showy. And when I'm judging, I'm judging for more of like commercial. I'm judging for the meat quality and stuff like that. So I do look for the things that I like, but I also keep in my mind that that's not what they're looking for. So as I go in there, I just got to keep all those things in my mind and really think about it.
Now, when you go into livestock judging competition, you guys are doing 4 animals in 4 different classes, right? So you see 16 animals on the day. Do you get to like be hands-on? Do you, because again, you go to your county fair, the judge usually starts with their eyes, and then they might, look if they need to get a little more context.
So at a general livestock competition, we usually do not get to put our hands on the animal, which is honestly kind of a shame because when you're judging market, that's really what you're looking for.
Right.
But it is what it is. So sometimes they'll actually have showmen setting them up, and other times they'll just be in a pen. So it's just kind of who can get the best look
Okay,
at
so
him.
that makes it that's a whole other layer of difficulty.
It's a toss-up. Whoever's going to get the best look at them, especially when you have all these people circled around the gates. But honestly, it's all for the experience. So, like, you want the best look, but at the end of the day, you get what you get, and you just got to work off that.
And you don't throw a fit.
Right.
Very good. Now, I have to ask Emery then, does it sound like you're wanting to change the rules a little bit where you might get that opportunity?
So, like, at a lot of, like, the collegiate livestock shows, they'll actually set them up on the stands, or they'll tie them up to where you can touch the animals. Mm-hmm. So I think if, like high school, a lot of high school members are being recruited by the college teams. So when you go there, I think that you should definitely be able to touch them because that's what you're going to do in the college.
Sure.
But at the same time, I mean, once I said you get what you get. So, but yeah, that would definitely be nice if you could lay your hands on them.
All right. Well, get on the state board and we'll let you make some decisions there. And who knows, big changes might be coming in. Izzy, let's hear a little from you. Introduce yourself if you would.
Good morning. My name is Izzy Spires. I'm the historian for the Eastern Brown FFA. I show 2 animals. I show cattle and rabbits, and I've done a lot of CDEs. I've done livestock judging, job interview, public speaking for Creed, and let's see, I've done food science.
Food science, okay. Yep. Well, since that was the one you forgot, that's what I'll ask you specifically on, because Vivian kind of took us through what that Creed competition looks like a little bit, but food science, again, not necessarily an aspect I think a lot of people would say that they would be aware about with FFA. We think a lot more livestock judging and soil judging type of things. Take us through what that competition looks like and that process for you.
So with food science, we do a lot of outlier stuff. So you have three types of thing, and it's the same thing. One is a different brand than the other two, or one might be different, but they all look the same, and you guys try to figure out which one is the outlier. And then you do a lot of aroma tests, so they'll have different aromas, and you waft them. You stick your hand up and you waft them.
Waft, yes.
Yeah.
Don't stick your nose right down to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're learning scientific stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
Good
and
deal.
you pick which, you figure out what the smell is. You do a lot of taste testing, so that goes along in with the outlier as well. And you do, I think it's you do ingredients.
Okay.
So
Within this, when you say we're having all these different samples, like, are they giving you different cuts of meat to look at? Are they giving you, different? Are you supposed to figure out different brands of potato chips? Like, what exactly are you having to sort out?
So the outlier, you do figure out which brands of potato chips.
Oh,
are
really? Okay.
Different.
Well,
really anything
that was
they
a
put in
wild
front
guess
of
on
you.
my part.
Yeah, you guess the brand, you guess if one might have a defect or whatever. And then some I think do meat like judging.
Okay, interesting. So, would you say you were good at it, or is that a skill set that?
There was parts I was good at, and then there was parts I wasn't. But it was really fun. I had a good learning experience from it.
I mean,
and I use a lot of what I learned there, cooking today and
yeah.
whatnot.
Well, not many competitions you actually get to go in and taste test something. So
Yeah.
I don't think you'd want to do that with livestock or soil judging. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We got a kind of a look from memory there. Maybe she we're not changing the rules for that. No. Okay. All right. Good. Next up, we'll swing back, and Ashlyn, let's hear a little from you.
Hi, my name is Ashlyn Clifton. I'm a freshman at the Eastern Brown High School. I'm a second vice president, and I am the leader of the Growing Leaders Committee.
Okay. First off, second vice president. Vivian's so important that you need two people to replace her, or how's that work?
So basically, I'm kind of like the president of my committee. There's like 3 different committees: building communities, growing leaders, and the other one.
Well,
Strengthening ag.
Okay.
Yes, that's
All
the
right.
other one.
all right.
But I am the second vice president of Growing Leaders, and so I kind of just run that committee, and I really take over the POAs, and I do like the minutes for those meetings and things, and I talk about that at our big chapter meeting every month.
Okay.
So yeah.
Explain to us what Growing Leaders is. What's the purpose of that committee within your FFA chapter?
Growing Leaders, like for example, one of our POAs is, we started this one last year, is the Polished and Professional. And we had a bunch of juniors and seniors come in, and they got to have like a business dinner with some people that were like skilled in that.
Oh, okay.
And just kind of learned how to, like, if you have an interview with a dinner, how to behave and how to act right and really stick that interview. So it's kind of just like teaching things and like growing out of the FFA.
Yeah. And we often talk, about skill sets. We talked about food science. We've talked about livestock. Skill sets that you're talking about are things that very easily carry on beyond agriculture, right? So
Yeah.
Being a freshman in high school, do you feel like you're pretty well set on that, and now it's like fine-tuning the other skill sets? Or would you say you still have something to learn about public speaking or job interview, things like that?
I feel that I definitely have a lot more to learn. I really enjoy job interview and I enjoy public speaking. But for example, this past couple weeks, I did the extemporaneous speaking contest for the first time.
Sure.
And it was definitely an experience. And so I'm going to keep working at that, or maybe try prepared speaking next year, and definitely just trying to grow. I feel like I've learned a lot already, but there's always more you can learn, and it's going to help me so much throughout my life. Just everything I've done in the past 2 years with 8th grade and 9th grade.
No doubt.
Doing all these CDs, it's definitely taught me a lot.
So for some people will know what extemporaneous speaking is, but for those who don't, that is like completely off the cuff. You are handed a subject and you're expected to know everything about it within like 10 minutes, right? So take us through that process, and how do you go from, a given topic, and all of a sudden, hey, 20 minutes later, I have to have written a speech and be ready to deliver?
So basically there's, I'm not sure how many, there's a couple different categories, and then you draw one of each category has like subcategories, and you draw one of the subcategories for every category. And then you choose one that you're most knowledgeable in. And so I chose one about, it was about like taking care of animals. And so then I had 30 minutes to research and come up with some like notes, and you have to do between a 4 and 6 minute speech.
Wow. Okay.
And give a speech on that topic.
Very interesting. So you're not going in completely blind necessarily. You at least have a little bit of background, and you kind of choose what's going to be best for you.
Yes, we already knew which ones, like all the different categories. So I kind of studied like the specific ones that I already knew about, like just like production and stuff with my pigs and everything. I already know some about that. So you already know that. You just kind of have to get all the details about it.
Right. Put the details together, fine tune it, and 4 to 6 minutes is a long time to speak on any one given subject.
I thought it was going to be a long time, but then I had my watch in there, and I looked down at my watch, and I was at 5 minutes and 41 seconds, and I was like, oh, I kind of need to wrap this up.
Thanks for coming. Have a good day.
Yep.
Okay.
I was like, I snapped my fingers, and I was done. I don't know how I just kept rambling on.
Nice. Just blacked out and went on.
I'm definitely excited next year, though. I think I'm going to try prepared, because I did Creed in 8th grade. I was pretty good at it. Extemporaneous, definitely have some work to do in there.
Sure.
But I want to try prepare next year and maybe fine-tune it, and by my senior year, I'll be pretty good at it and maybe make it to districts.
Well, good luck to you on that. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Last but not least, we're going to hear from Maddie, our junior high representative here with 8th grade. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's hear a little about yourself.
Good morning. My name is Maddie Jodry. I'm in the 8th grade at the Eastern Middle School. I'm the reporter for our middle school FFA chapter. I show 2 animals. I show cattle and rabbits.
Okay. That's a pretty wide margin. You got like the smallest thing and the biggest thing. Is there any crossover to the skill set there from rabbits to cattle? And like how you show them or what you need to be doing to get them ready?
Well, obviously there's a lot of different ways you can go about showing a lot of different things. And I feel like there really isn't anything that crosses over because cattle, like they're obviously a bigger animal. Like it's definitely a challenge to go between rabbits and cattle. Rabbits really, they're just like fun and easy to show. It's just like.
So do you have a favorite then out of the 2?
Cattle, definitely.
Cattle. Okay. Well, you said rabbits are fun and easy to show. I would have thought, we go with what's easy. Why cattle?
So obviously I grew up on a farm. My sister, I do a lot. Like after her, she's like really inspired me in my life, and she showed cattle before I did. So I just really got interested in them, being out there with her while she was working with them. Obviously letting her do all the work. Best part of it.
As younger sisters tend to do. You're going to learn, but you're going to, not do the parts you don't want to do. So, we talked a little with Vivian about the importance of starting that agricultural education early. Obviously, something you must believe in if you're, taking FFA and becoming a chapter representative in the 8th grade. What to you stands out from biggest things you learned, even growing up on a farm? Biggest things you learned going into 7th and 8th grade FFA that maybe, you hadn't really given much thought of?
Starting in the 7th grade, it's definitely a fun experience, and I encourage a lot of like kids to do it because getting to like learn what it is then and deciding your future like after that is probably a very good idea. Because like obviously working towards what Vivi or Emery has like now, getting to decide that early on is probably important like for you in your development.
Yeah, that is really well said. Yeah, very nice. Vivian, I'm going to pick on you just a touch because you kind of grinned when she was talking about being a younger sister. Does that really ring true? Does the younger sister just kind of get to follow along and not do the yucky stuff that they don't want to do? Because I have a feeling that's probably not your experience all the time.
As a younger sister, it definitely depends on who your older sister is. And it depends on if you know how to manipulate them correctly. My older sister, if I didn't want to do it, I might do it wrong a couple times. So then she would get mad and do it. But in the end, I didn't have to do it, and she did it. So
that's still a valuable skill set to have learned, I guess, when it comes down to it. But
being able to negotiate.
I would say manipulate, but either way, it ends with I ate. So there you go. Vivian, we said we'd return to talk a little more about some of the other things you're involved with now. Biotechnology, again, very vastly different from what I think a lot of people's just overall conception is of what FFA is. So explain to us first and foremost kind of like where that interest came from and how you've used the FFA and just kind of going through your chapters experience to grow that information.
So last year was the first year we did the biotechnology contest, and it all stemmed from a new class that we were offering at our school, AP Environmental Science. It was through our FFA, so it was taught by our ag teacher. And so she was like, oh, it's a relatively new contest, and it fits with what we're doing, so why not give it a shot? So last year we went in completely blind, and no fault to her. It was a new contest, like... we were all good with it. We were all like, yeah, we don't want to do this. Let's go. And so we started, and it was definitely a very unique experience. So, what you do is you go in and you are given a environmental problem that's going on in the ag industry. This year it was about insects. Last year it was about the bird flu, and it was in what you're tasked with is you're tasked to do research about ways you can prevent what's happening and how it is impacting agriculture and how it is applicable to the average farmer and why they need to care. Because one of the more hardships that we're dealing with now is that we have all these environmental problems, but they don't think it applies to them. They think it's, just push it off. It's going to be fine.
Sure.
When in reality, it might not be. So we really need to be proactive about impacting change right now. And I definitely feel like the biotechnology is a way that it's doing that. And then after you do all this research, you create a presentation. You present it to scientists. We had 2 judges for this time. Last year we did it online because the doctor was doing a research study in Canada.
Oh, okay.
So
a little long distance then.
And so we do the 5-minute presentation, and we explain why all the things that I told you, why it's important, how is it applicable, and then you go and you do labs. So this year we had to make samples, we had to label them correctly, we had to do different trials, and then after that you do a basic test over just the general tools that you use, and then after the test, this year we got to tour the lab up there.
Oh, that's cool. So when you're talking about eliciting these changes on a more local scale, you said oftentimes it can be felt like farmers might not think it really is going to concern them, or it might not bother them. Is that because these issues are obviously going to be much more prevalent in we'll say a larger farm setting, or even a commercial farm setting versus a small local setting, or is it more like the cost effectiveness of always doing those best practices?
So I definitely think it depends on the issue.
Sure.
So last year we had the bird flu, and that was impacting a lot of chicken farmers, because once you get one, because of the way that they are contained, basically you have to wipe out the whole barn.
Right.
You just have to burn it.
Right.
You don't actually have to burn the barn. You don't actually have to burn the barn, but you have to start.
Let's choose our words better, Vivian.
You have to start from scratch. And then this year we had a disease which impacted soybean farms.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the ways that we had for impact to change was like redoing drainage systems, and that is very pricey.
Yeah.
And one of the cons that we listed was like it's so pricey, and farmers are already having financial issues, that it might not be sustainable right now, and that there might has to be some government intervention to supply a way for them to make this change.
Sure. And I think, again, great to look at it from all sides in that, and from all, again, sizes of farms. Soybeans especially. I mean, I know a lot of folks grow those here, and so very important, very prevalent. So good on you. I just think that was definitely a lot different than, again, my own misconception of what FFA is. So very, very interesting. And Emery, again, not to go back to the livestock judging thing of it, but I think that a lot of people's misconception in that is you guys are going into a pen and you're looking at a few animals, right? Talk to us about some of those skill sets that are developed outside of just being able to look at a given species and number an animal 1 through 4. Some of the other skill sets that you're using within that.
So when actively in a competition, it's more than just the animal or what looks the best. You're looking from cattle, hogs, sheep, and goats. Everything is different. You're looking at all different details. For example, we also do a market and a breeding class for everything. So for breeding, obviously you're looking at the width of the hips. You're looking at their belly. Are they maternal enough to carry this animal? For as a market, you're looking for the muscle, the dimension, with little to no fat. You know what I mean?
Right.
So obviously there's different aspects. And yes, it's general looking at all those, like a breeding versus a market. But when you get to the cattle, you're looking from hooks to pins. When you get to the sheep, you're looking at totally different things.
Sure. Is it hard to balance that out, all that different information? Because there is a general, I know I want a good, fit, trim animal. But then beyond that, each species is very different.
So honestly, yes, different, but not too different.
Okay.
Like I said, there's the 2 basic classes. You're looking for those traits, but then also, like I just said, you're looking for totally different things in a large animal versus a smaller animal.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Okay, good deal. Well, I realize we are just about out of time. This half hour did go by very, very quickly. So just a few highlights, big things you guys are doing for FFA celebration. Vivian will give you the honor just to take us through, again, getting as many people involved and getting people on board with the FFA.
So we actually started last week because traditionally FFA week is the week of President's Day week, and when we did our officer planning in the summer, we planned for that week.
Sure.
And so we started that week, and then when we heard that it was moved to this week, we were like, okay, we have enough stuff, we can cover 2 weeks. And that's what we've been doing. Last week was more of our student-led activities. So on Sunday, we went to a church service, and we did a Blue Jacket service where we had our FFA members come, and we attended the Bethlehem Church of Christ service, and they were very welcoming, and it was a beautiful way to have fellowship in our chapter.
Yeah.
And then we had a teacher breakfast, which is when we used the resources and the skills that we've learned from our food science class, and we provided breakfast for our teachers. We did theme days, which covered all of last week. This week we're here. They're going to Brown County Leads on Friday. We had a degree ceremony earlier, which is when we give all of our our chapter and below, we recognize them for the degrees that they've earned that year. So we've been very busy these past 2 weeks.
Good problem to have, needless to say. Last but not least, Izzy, we're going to come back to you as just to kind of close out. Again, you're kind of in the middle of your high school FFA experience. What would you say to kind of our underclassmen, those freshmen, those 8th graders, those 7th graders that are just kind of getting started, and how much you feel you've grown, not just in your agricultural experience, but as a person through the FFA?
I would tell my younger people that try and do all the CDEs and get involved as much as you can.
Sure.
Because when you get older, it's not harder, but it's a little bit harder to go into contests, never doing them, and not having as much time to learn on what you do and what you can do better.
Sure.
And I just say get involved as much as you can and try just to, represent.
Yeah.
I guess you would say. Get involved and represent.
Very well said. Do as much as you can, as many things as you can, do it the best you can. That's what, honestly, I think that's kind of everybody's FFA experience, right? Try what you can and go from there. So with that, ladies, really appreciate you guys coming in, talking with us. Best of luck through, we're almost through the end of your 2nd week. You guys do it big at Eastern. So, congratulations and good luck. With that, folks, we are going to wrap up this portion. We're going to do a little set reset. We'll have the Ripley FFA chapter joining us up next. But again, thank you to our sponsors, including National Bank of Adams County, Community Fuels and Lubricants, Meffords Heating and Cooling, Midwest Air, Huntley Napa Auto Supply, and Carrington Farm Supply for making this show possible. And of course, thank you to Eastern FFA joining us here today. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV, presented by CMT Components. If this summer brings scorching temperatures and drought conditions, Armstrong Crop Insurance, your local hometown agency, can come to the rescue. They're here to protect your crops from excessive heat, rainfall, wildlife destruction, hail, and even uncertain prices. They have 3 full-time agents who live and farm in your community. The deadline to apply for crop insurance is March 17th. Don't stress all summer long. Call Armstrong Crop Insurance today at 937-378-4430 for a quote, or stop by their office at 501 East State Street in Georgetown. Armstrong Crop Insurance, where the agent is the advantage. Equal opportunity provider. Get ready for the stars to align.
Turnaround jumper, Vance buries it!
The 41st annual C103 Shack Senior All-Star Game is coming Saturday, March 28th to North Adams High School.
McLaughlin for a short jumper, it's good.
Featuring girls and boys All-Star Games and the All-Star Cheerleaders.
Feldhouse, the big guy, drives the left side of the lane, puts it up and in.
Plus, we'll award thousands of dollars in scholarships to our local student athletes.
Left side, but it's stuck back by Haysrup, up and in.
Mark your calendars now. We'll see you there.
Your plan is ready. It's time to build. At CMT Components, we design and manufacture quality building materials for your custom job. If you need metal panels and trim, trusses, or even a complete pole barn package, we do it all, including delivering right to your job site. To get started, call us at 937-446-3400. You can also check us out online or stop by our office in Sardinia, Ohio to discuss your plans today. Let's get building.
What's one of our shows that our listeners love the most?
Yeah, I got a couple things here to sell today.
That's right. It's the Trash and Treasure Trading Post on C103 weekdays starting at 12:30 p.m.
Oh, yes, I'm a private collector.
Get your items on the air by calling 937-544-9722. You can also try out the mailbag items. It's $2 a day, $5 for 3 days. Mail your listings to P.O. Box 103, West Union, Ohio, 45693.
Got a lot of other miscellaneous, too.
And we'll help you turn your trash into treasure.
C103 99.5 The Edge and Good Guys Radio TV are your source for everything local, from Shack basketball
Shot by Osborne, free on the buzzer! Wow!
to Shack baseball.
Wells is going to drive. He makes it. He's safe.
Western Brown football
Throws it towards the end zone, and it's complete.
to Shack volleyball.
Hatton for the kill. It's good.
Local fairs, festivals, and more.
Ire to the finish line.
Crosses the line to get the victory.
Never miss a moment with C103 99.5 The Edge and Good Guys Radio TV. If this summer brings scorching temperatures and drought conditions, Armstrong Crop Insurance, your local hometown agency, can come to the rescue. They're here to protect your crops from excessive heat, rainfall, wildlife destruction, hail, and even uncertain prices. They have 3 full-time agents who live and farm in your community. The deadline to apply for crop insurance is March 17th. Don't stress all summer long. Call Armstrong Crop Insurance today at 937-378-4430 for a quote, or stop by their office at 501 East State Street in Georgetown. Armstrong Crop Insurance, where the agent is the advantage. Equal opportunity provider. Get ready for the stars to align.
Turnaround jumper, Vance buries it!
The 41st annual C103 Shack Senior All-Star Game is coming Saturday, March 28th to North Adams High School.
McLaughlin for a short jumper, it's good.
Featuring girls and boys All-Star Games and the All-Star Cheerleaders.
Feldhouse, the big guy, drives the left side of the lane, puts it up and in.
Plus, we'll award thousands of dollars in scholarships to our local student athletes.
Left side, but it's stuck back by Haysrup, up and in.
Mark your calendars now. We'll see you there. Welcome back in, folks, to our FFA Week celebration here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV. Again, big thank you to Armstrong Crop Insurance, our title sponsor this week for our FFA celebration. Also, thank you to Adams, Brown, and Highland County Farm Bureaus, Baxley Tractor Sales, Buckeye Valley Beef Cooperative, Georgetown Marble and Granite, and Southern Ohio Medical Center. We've done a little reset. We're now going to welcome in our Ripley FFA chapter. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And thank you all for joining us here. I'm sure a very busy week, a lot of celebrating going on, a lot of programs and stuff you guys are doing to kind of spread the word for FFA. We're going to go through and have everybody kind of introduce themselves. Brooklyn, we're going to start up here with you because I know you are our senior leadership for the Ripley FFA program.
I'm the president of our chapter. I participated in lots of FFA activities, CDs like livestock judging, food science, and
Yeah, I'm the president this year, so I'm kind of the leader.
Yeah.
We only have 2 seniors this year.
Only kind of the leader as the president?
Well, pretty much the whole leader.
We'll let you have the credit for it, right? So take us through your FFA experience. What grade do you guys start in at Ripley?
When I started, I was a 7th grader. We had just actually put in the junior high program as soon as I had gotten to junior high. So I think I was the 2nd year for Mr. Cluxton, who was our first junior high teacher, and I've been in ag and FFA ever since.
Yeah. So talk to us about the importance of getting started at a younger age, that junior high experience. Like, I know you come from a farming family, pretty prevalent in the community, but even coming from a home where you've literally grown up around animals, do you feel like you had a lot to learn going into those junior high years?
Most definitely. It's where you get everything started. I mean, if you start 1 year later, you don't get as much as an experience. I think in junior high, you kind of get your foot in the water, you know. You get to start learning more about CDEs. I know I started livestock judging, I think, 8th grade year, but it's a great way to really just start learning what you're interested in. And then once you get into high school, you can really focus on what interests you the most so you can be more successful in that area.
Yeah. So junior high is the time to kind of feel it out.
Yes.
Let's test the waters, see where, what might interest you. So it's really interesting. You picked up on livestock judging that early on and are still going with it. So at this point, you're what, like 5th year into your high school livestock judging team. Take us through that experience. Like, did you feel, again, coming from a farming family, did you feel pretty confident? Or, did you have a lot of room to grow in that first year?
I felt very confident in the cattle industry, obviously, but I had a lot to learn when it came to the other species. Like, I had been around sheep because my cousins raised sheep, but I didn't know much about goats or hogs or anything like that. So definitely a learning experience, what to look for. Mr. Cluxton did a great job, helping us to learn more about those species by livestock judging websites, getting to watch classes.
Sure.
But it was definitely challenging at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty fun.
Now, growing up around cattle, you have an obvious kind of in on that. Was there a species that was hardest for you to learn because, even within your own preferences and what your family might look for in a cattle from the production side, not necessarily what you're always looking for in judging. So was that hard to override for cattle, or was there a species that was, gave you particular fits in learning?
Definitely hogs, because they all look the same to me. But so it's kind of hard to pick out,
Sure.
Because they're so short, and it's just really hard to know what hog is the best and what particular things that make them better than the other ones.
Okay. Well, you get, when you go into one of these judging competitions, you get a set amount of time. You get 4 animals in a given species. We'll use cattle because that's obviously your strong suit. How quickly can you pick out? I know what one I know is going to be my number 1 all the way down through number 4. And what's harder to pick, your best or your worst in the class?
I always go for the worst because I think that's the easiest one to pick out.
Okay.
And then it gets kind of tougher with the top 2 pair, I would say, even down to the 3rd. But I think it's easy to pick out the worst one in the class first.
Okay, so start with the worst first, work your way up.
Yep.
Okay, well, there's a tip for anybody else doing the livestock judging. We're going to introduce everybody else. Logan, we'll swing to you since we're on the back row here. Tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm Logan. I'm a freshman this year, and I just started a new CDE. I tried out wildlife, and not very good at it. It was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was just going to go in there and look at some leaves and animal prints and just name them, and it is a lot more than that. But I've also done livestock. I've done pretty good at that. I feel like in junior high it was not easy, but we did pretty strong, winning the state competition our 7th grade year.
Oh, that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. This year, we had our first contest Tuesday, and shaking off the rust a little bit. Didn't do as good as I wanted to, but did all right.
Yeah. Well, I first and foremost, kudos to you on trying something new. I think the FFA, that's a big thing and a big part of a lot of people's experience is getting to kind of broaden those horizons a little bit. I think you said it's wildlife judging?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is very outside of the range of, I think, a lot of people's idea of the FFA. Talk to us a little, because obviously you're a freshman. You're not that far removed from just starting in the FFA period. Talk to us about is there nerves in going into a new competition, a new CDE?
Yeah, definitely. We haven't had a contest yet this year, but we did one of them last year, and based off that one, like it was a whole lot more like how deep you're supposed to dig ponds, how many nests you should have per animal, like different kinds of plants, what they're recommended, like sunlight, all kinds of things I didn't expect to be in there. And I studied for what I thought it was going to be about animals, skulls, which one animal looks like what, and I got most of them right, but that was only a small portion of the competition.
Right. Hard to replicate that, A, just how the question's going to be, but B, that pressure that's there when you go into a competition day. Now, you said you had to knock off the rust for livestock judging. I would think, Brooklyn made it sound so easy. You just walk in and you name them 1 through 4. You start with the worst one, you work way up. What is there to be rusty about in that?
I don't know. I went in there and I felt pretty confident after what I did, but I don't know. It's just been a while since I judged them, and I didn't do that bad because it seemed like a bunch of people struggled with that contest. No one got as high as normal. I ended up placing top 40, I think. I think I was 33rd in the competition, which wasn't bad, especially for high school. But junior high, I was used to walking in there, just naming my top animal and everything, just getting top 10 in the competition every time.
Sure.
It's definitely a new step up in high school.
So does the skill set change from junior high to high school, or like what they're asking you to do?
No, it's pretty much the exact same thing, other than there's one other part of the contest that gets added in, which I did struggle with that a little bit, but my calculator wasn't working in the cold. But in junior high, there's just not a whole lot of people that do it. A bunch of schools don't have a junior high FFA.
Right.
So it's like goes from a 150-person competition or 100-person up to like a 300-person competition.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a much wider field.
Much wider.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, hey, the fact of the matter is you still did well. I think, sounds like you're being a little hard on yourself. You're still in the top 10%. Is it, I don't know, tough to hold yourself to that high a standard?
It is, but I kind of got to accept the fact that I'm not going to be as good, especially with the more people. Because in 7th grade, my first ever contest, never been to a practice at all, and I got 3rd place. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I went to the same contest this year. I was at the Brown County Fair, and I didn't place that high at all. So I don't know, just a different level, and I don't know.
Well,
new year.
The fact of the matter is you keep working at it, right? Mm-hmm. Good deal. Next up, we're going to swing down and we're going to meet Lindsay. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning. My name is Lindsay Diatley. I'm a junior at Ripley FFA, and I am the secretary. And I've been at FFA since 7th grade, so I'm going on 5 years. I've done many CDEs, ranging from dairy judging. I've done job interview. I've done floriculture, which I just started last year.
Okay. Now, that's one that I've not heard about in all this week. We've talked to a lot of kids. Nobody has talked about floriculture, which I assume is flowers, right? Yeah. Okay, so I at least read that part, right?
Yeah.
How does one, what are you doing within that? Is that arranging? Is that growing? What?
Actually, it was a lot different than I thought it was going to be. It's not just flowers. It's arranging them. It's plotting them. It's looking at the plant and the bugs that are on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's naming all the stuff to grow plants. So I definitely need to learn and prepare myself next time, because I did not think that was going to be that.
It really seems to be the case within any of these given CDEs. Like, it is way more varied than you kind of expect for it to be. Was there a certain area of that like you felt most prepared for when you went in?
I did better at plotting than I thought I was going to be, but arranging it, no, I did not do very good.
Okay, so that's like, to me, that's mixing a little bit of soil judging in there too.
Yes.
Which is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So better at plotting than you thought you were going to be. Is that something you had a particular interest in? What made you say this is something I think I could excel at?
Oh, well, no one's really ever done it, and I just wanted to do something different.
Do something different. That's, again, FFA. That's what it's all about. You got to try new things. expand your horizons a little bit. So you're still working on that, the floriculture now?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again this year.
You're going to do it again. All right. So take us through round one. What's the biggest thing? You said you were better at plotting than you thought you were. What's the big thing that you need to work on going into your second year of it?
Flowers are very different than you think. There are lots of different ones. Like a sunflower, I thought it was a sunflower, but different name than a sunflower.
Okay.
Like they're very specific.
Very specific as to what, like, you've got kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, right? So you expected to know, like, all of those?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Really? Okay.
There's a lot of flowers, and I did not know half of them.
Okay, so better prepared going in the second time.
Yes.
Outside of floriculture, what else did you say you're focused in on?
I do dairy judging.
Dairy judging,
Yes.
okay. So within that, we kind of heard from Brooklyn going through the livestock judging. You have a couple of different categories there, whether you're looking at more the meat production side or the breeding side. Is there a difference for dairy, or is it all just looking at milk production?
Well, they have multiple different animals. We just have heifers and cows. And you go in more specific details about the cows, look at the udder, the structure, the dairiness of the cow.
Okay.
And you rank it from there.
Okay. So you're not looking at like dairy goats then.
No.
You're specific to cows.
Yes, just cows.
Okay, good. We don't need to add any goats into it, make it more complicated than it is. So within that, what I don't know, what are we looking for good production out of our dairy cattle?
Definitely a good udder, a bigger cow, well proportioned, and yeah,
that's the bulk.
It's pretty much
You make it sound super easy, but I'm sure it's not.
No, it's not. There's a lot of details and looking into it you have to do.
Okay. Now, are you like Brooklyn and you go from worst up to first, or do you think like it's easier to pick out the better cow first?
I do something like that. Normally, you can pick out like there's one outstanding one, either the worst or the best, and then you work from there.
Okay.
Normally
so
first or last.
It's got to, okay. So start on either end
Yeah.
and work. Okay. I got you. Very interesting. Next up, we're going to meet Paige. Good morning, Paige.
Paige Forsey. I'm a freshman, and I mostly do food science.
Food science. Again, very different than dealing with, livestock judging or soil judging. Mm-hmm. Take us through what a food science review looks like for you.
Food science, it's mostly about what's in food and how other companies or other products would treat such food and violations against food security.
Okay.
So there's a test where you do math to see how much sugar or proteins or fat might be in food. There's a taste test where you can see what company might have used different products to make the same product.
Okay.
There's a scent test, so in case like somebody makes something, you can tell what it is. Like if it's a strawberry, if it's a watermelon. It's pretty much just taste testing what's in your food. And then my favorite part was the violations, where you look at pictures and you try to see what health or safety codes they might have just not done.
Sure.
Like keeping a dumpster open or not washing their hands.
Okay. So again, these contests are all way, way more like varied in what they're having you look at than what I think a lot of people would on the surface. First and foremost, not many contests where you actually get to taste test. So I mean, like that's cool going in. Within that, are you having to pick out the different? You said like even down to the different ingredients that might be used in something that looks the same but tastes different.
It's mostly like trying to pick one out of a crowd. So which one's like the black sheep out of these three? So like they give you a cracker, you have to find which one's like the generic brand versus the name brand.
Oh, okay. So there is a difference.
Yes.
Can you let us in on the trade secrets? What's like, I don't know, the biggest the biggest shock to you, I guess, going through a competition?
I don't know, maybe for the taste test that the name brand ones have more flavor than the off-brand ones.
Okay.
They use more, I don't know what they use more of.
No, but there is something different.
There's definitely
it's just
something.
being able to pick out that little bit of difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so name brand Oreos are better than off-brand Oreos. That's what you're telling us. Okay, all right. Well, that was what I really wanted to get down to because we got to know the cookies are important. Talk a little bit about being a freshman. We kind of heard that first year going into the high school experience. Is that vastly different from your junior high years, or would you say that you had a pretty good feel on things?
It's pretty incredibly different. It also depends on your advisor.
Sure.
So our junior high advisor, he was pretty lenient and he listened to you a lot and what issues somebody might have had. While our senior advisor, our high school advisor, he also listens, but he tries just to find solutions.
Foster's a little less forgiving, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have picked that out. But it is an adjustment, right? It's a big shift in thinking and getting a lot more dialed into things at that point.
Incredibly, yes.
Good deal. Last but not least, Wyatt, you are our junior high representative, so let's talk about the easygoing, lenient days of your FFA career. How do you feel it's going so far?
We've did 2 contests so far. I think it's going all right. I definitely have a lot to learn about livestock judging.
Sure. Well, so that's the CDE you've been competing in so far as livestock judging?
Yes.
All right. Talk to us about having the resources. Brooklyn's been doing this for a long time. Lindsay's been doing this for a long time. Are you getting any tips and tricks from them, or is it kind of on your own merit and skill level that you're having to go in on?
Well, my sister actually used to do it and place like really high, so she's been kind of showing me how to do it, really, and how to judge animals and everything.
Okay, so you've got a little bit of family influence, which is good. Now, is there a certain species of animal that you feel more comfortable with?
I think, for my opinion, cows are easier because it's easier to pick out the best one and the worst looking one.
Sure. What are you looking for in a good? I guess let's look at it from both sides here, right? Because you're looking at both the meat production and also the breeding side. Do you have a preference of those two?
I think the meat production's easier to do because really for the meat production, you just want to find the fattest one, most meat.
Now, Brooklyn's laughing behind you, so we'll get Brooklyn's opinion on that in a second. But that's kind of the basics of it. If cattle's the easiest one, what's the hardest one for you?
Probably sheep because I haven't really been around them very much.
Okay, so we're worried about sheep. We're good on cows. We're set and ready to go. Talk to us about, I don't know, the importance for you. Like, why did you join FFA as a junior high school member, and get involved such an early age?
Well, I joined FFA because I live on a farm and I wanted to know more about different species of animals. And I knew I was going to do FFA in high school, so I wanted to get like the basics down first.
Sure. Go ahead and start early, right? And again, just wait for Foster to come and put you on the straight and narrow in the high school years. So enjoy the leniency while it's around, I guess. Brooklyn, I have to go to you. So a strong opinion here, it seems like. We're not just looking for the fattest cow. Is that safe to assume would be your opinion?
Well, that's is, the biggest one. You want the most muscle. But I think more on the livestock side, that's definitely what you want to look for. Because, at these contests, they're not the most high quality animals. So your safest bet, Foster and Cluxton have always taught us this, go for the one that has the most muscle, because that's basically the whole point of a steer, market.
Right.
But I think it's just funny coming from someone who shows, or used to show steers. It's different in the show cattle world than I think the livestock judging world.
Is that hard? And we talked about this with Eastern as well. Is that hard to override those things? Because, you've been showing cattle since you were tiny, very young. So that's been kind of your mindset since, 5, I would assume? You've been showing it since you were at least 5, probably at least pulling a steer around.
I've always been around it, yeah.
Yeah. So is that a hard thing to override, all of those preconceived notions from the show cattle world, to go in and say, okay, I know I'm looking at the production side now?
Yeah, it's definitely different, especially when early on, like the first few contests, because, you're trying to pick out the best quality structure while some of the judges that do the contest aren't looking for all of those specific little things, just which one's going to be the best on the market.
All right, so Wyatt's got an okay idea,
Yeah.
just needs to fine-tune a little bit.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, guys, we're running close to the end of our time here, but Brooklyn will stay with you to kind of cap us off. Obviously, being a member of the FFA has been a big part of your life. Just, your sales pitch for any of the kids out there that maybe aren't like Wyatt, didn't grow up on a farm. Why joining the FFA is important regardless of what background you might come from.
FFA is great for anyone. There's tons of things that you can learn, responsibility, time management, so many different things. There's tons of CDEs out there. You don't have to grow up on a farm to be an FFA. We have plenty of members at our school that, don't come from a farm life, but sure. I know there's so many that enjoy it. We go on fun trips. We get to go to conventions. There's so much to learn, and it can really help you develop skills for your career path that you decide to go into after high school.
That's awesome. And again, those skill sets are going to come in handy regardless of what you're going into.
Exactly, yes.
Very good. Last but not least, Lindsay, will let you kind of cap us off. Some of the celebrations, things you guys are doing to honor FFA week, and some of the things you're looking forward to doing throughout the rest of your year with Ripley FFA.
Yeah, it's FFA weekend. We do we do dress up, but we also do Ag Olympics. Yes, Ag Olympics. I was like, I gotta get it out. Ag Olympics, which is so fun.
Paige with the assist, right?
Yeah, thank you. Which is so fun. We bring everyone in the gym. We divide in teams. We barrel race. We
You guys are bringing horses into your gym?
No.
Okay, all right. Do it a little different at Ripley, I guess, but a big celebration, big week.
Yes.
Again, going back to what Brooklyn was talking about, conventions and trips and all the fun stuff that you get to do. Is it worth all the hard work that goes in to get to that point?
Yes, conventions are lots of fun, and so is all the trips we go on.
Yeah.
They're very worth it.
Okay, dealing with Foster and his hard-nosed ways will be good. So with that, guys, unfortunately, we'll wrap up our time for today. Again, big thank you to both Ripley and Eastern FFA programs joining us today for this FFA Week celebration. Special thanks to Armstrong Crop Insurance, our key sponsor for this week, but also thank you to the National Bank of Adams County, Community Fuels and Lubricants, Meffords Heating and Cooling, Midwest Air, Huntley Napa Auto Supply, and Carrington Farm Supply. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be hosting both Georgetown and Fayetteville FFA chapters, so make sure and join us for that. And if you've missed out on any of our other shows throughout this week, don't forget you can check them out on demand at goodguysradiotv.com. That's going to wrap it up for us today here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV, presented by CMT Components.
Thank you for tuning in. Rewatch this video and many more on demand at goodguysradiotv.com.